sponsored by Hemp and Marijuana Prohibition. Hemp, you can find out more information at www.jackhair.com. Hugh Downs spent ABC 2020 and 11 people's time and resources to try to debunk this and get the $100,000, and they couldn't. So see if you can. You're not going to be able to. Okay, we're going to be reading out of chapter 14, more than 70 years of suppression and repression. 1937, hemp is banned. Only an estimated 60,000 Americans smoke marijuana, but thanks to Hearst and Anslinger's disinformation campaign, virtually everyone in the country has heard of it. 1945, Newsweek reports that over 100,000 people now smoke marijuana. 1967, millions of Americans regularly and openly smoke hemp leaves and flowers. 1977, tens of millions smoke cannabis regularly, with many people growing their own. 2007, 1 in 3 Americans, approximately 100 plus million citizens, have now tried it, and at least once, and some 20%, that's 25 to 50 million Americans, still choose to buy and smoke cannabis regularly despite urine tests and tougher laws. Throughout history, Americans have held the legal tradition that one could not give up one's constitutional rights, and if someone was stripped of these protections, then they would, or he or she would be victimized. However, by 1989, if you signed up for an extracurricular activity in a school or applied for a minimum wage job, you could be asked to forgo your right to privacy protection from self-incrimination, constitutional requirements of reasonable grounds for search and seizure, presumed innocence until found guilty by your peers, and that the most fundamental right of all, personal responsibility for your own life and consciousness. By 1995, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld that these intrusions into your individual privacy were constitutional. Have you ever felt like we're losing our freedom? In November of 1996, as earlier stated, California passed a statewide people's initiative that won by 56% of the vote and legalized medical marijuana within the state. Also in November of 1996, Arizona passed a statewide initiative by 65% of the vote that included medical marijuana. But unlike California law, Arizona legislature by the governor, who's now been impeached, has since been rejected as this people's law. This is the first rejection by the legislature and governor of any state initiative in America in over 90 years. Something is the matter, people. Wake up. The armed forces and industry, the armed forces as well as many civilian factories will boot you if you smoke marijuana. This is something that Curtis can tell you about. He was in the service. If you smoke it 30 days before testing and while off duty, these tests are done at random and often do not include liquor, tranquilizers, or other speed type downer drugs.
About twice a month we would get urine tested in the Army. And then now that I'm a veteran out of the military, if I go on paid management, I'm penalized, or possibly they could take my money if I get, or not be able to get paid meds for the rest of my life if I get caught with just marijuana. But the VA now, actually, if you go see a VA appointed therapist or a psych, for your head, they will appoint you to, it's going to pass, I think, this year, that you can be sent to one of their doctors and you can get a card from them. But
and they'll prescribe medicinal cannabis. That's good to hear. Thank you for that info, Curtis. Kind bud. He was in the Army, and he's a vet of the Iraq mess out there, Gulf. In actual OSHA findings and insurance findings, which is also AFL and CIO, it is alcohol that is involved in 90 to 95% of any factory accidents. And would you like to read some starting with this study?
The study was repeated 6 more times by the military and dozens of times by universities with the same or similar results. South African gold and diamond mines allowed and even encouraged blacks to use cannabis, also called daga, which enabled them to work harder. That was a U.S. government report, 1956, 58, 61, 63, 68, 69, 70, and 1976. So groups like NORML, Hemp, ACLU, BACH, and the Libertarian Party, for example, feel that as long as military personnel or factory workers do not smoke cannabis while on duty or during the period 4 to 6 hours before duty, it's their own business. This is consistent with the conclusions of the U.S. government's own Seiler Commission from 1933 and Schaefer Commission 1972 reports, as well as the LaGuardia report in 1944, the Canadian government study 1972, Alaska State Commission 1989, and the California Research Advisory Panel 1989, all of which held that no criminal penalties are in order for its use. Yeah.
I was having breathing problems. So I talked to Edward Johnson, who does chiropractic work, and he says, you know what, I can help with a chiropractic treatment. So I was, at first I said, nah, he ain't going to be able to, help my breathing. But after about 15 minutes, I was amazed. Just from him working my shoulders and working the lower, upper lower back, and I worked my lungs actually, and it helped me out a lot. He does alternative holistic health care. His number is 707-995-3522, and he's at 14624 Lakeshore Drive.
And Ed, amazing Dr. Ed on guitar for MeLLa. So
you sure he wants the two? He's not like Superman with that. He wants the two people known. He wants people to know him as the two things.
Well,
You sure he doesn't put like on his cape and then go and be the guitar player?
He actually does, because when people see him, people who know him, because a lot of people know him, he's a really great doctor, has a business in town, and when people see him playing guitar, because he's just really amazing.
They don't even know it's the same person.
Yeah, they're like, whoa, wait a minute, what was that? What just happened? Yeah. So you can check him out on some of the, sometimes we throw a video on the show, so you can see him.
Just tall, that's just about all. Stop, 'cause big balls. Just about all.
Hey, Squatch Reese down at the park. He's doing his community service today.
just about all.
Cool.